una de las pequeñas.
Thank you. Oh yeah. That will be not in the
Paul
in the
wanted
rail.
to sit there.
Maybe we should give him the.
Yeah.
Or no, you're good. You're good. Thank you, Erika, for being here on Amiga Handle Your Shit, first ever live with audience. Yes. So Erika has been on my podcast a long time ago. A long time ago. And it was a really wonderful episode, so you guys gotta go check that out. But today's is gonna be even better because it's live and we have this connection. And one thing that I love about Erika, I sent her my offerings of sponsorship, and she's like, okay, let me see, and I'll get back to you. And so she gets back to me. She's like, okay, I'll do the presenting partner. I'm like, what? And that is how we should be for one another.
Yeah.
Money flows, money is abundant. I give, it will come back to me tenfold times, right? And so, aside from that, she's a beautiful soul, obviously, dressed to the nines, and has such an amazing aura, and she's a completely fun woman. But, you know, before creating the nonprofit, I know she came from the corporate side. So, walk us through that process. But before, welcome,
Thank
Erika.
you. And I wanna first thank Jackie, because she's giving us this platform for us to empower Latinas. It is not. I was a part of this board, and they brought in this this person to train us, and something she said, amigas, let's get rid of that ego, because I think with you're trying to uplift our stories. You're trying to make us people understand the work and our trajectory, and that's very important. I see a lot of groups that are not doing that, and you're doing that. You're elevating our voice, and that's very important. When I first came, Jackie asked me to be on. I said, listen, I am very humble. I don't like to show. I don't have social media. You know, I don't do any of that. Because it is, we're told that we're humildes, we're humble, we don't, show. But Jackie was like, when she sent me her deck, I was like, I didn't even read what it included. I just said, I'm gonna do this one, and she's like, but you're gonna speak, and I was like, oh my God, I just wanted to support you. I didn't know any of that. But anyway, so I want to thank you, and thank you, because every time you do a podcast, you elevate a Latina voice, you elevate a woman, you empowered us, and you empowered the rest of your audience with it's such a gift. It's a gift for us, and I think we all need to know that, and we all really need to share. The more we share, the more that women that we get rid of that ego, and we're able to understand what can we learn from you. How can I be my better self?
Right.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Thank
I receive that wholeheartedly. And that is the goal of Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. The whole reason was to elevate our voices as Latinas and share those stories. Like, what makes you you? What motivates you, so that you grab somebody by the hand and you lift them together. Because too often we're not doing that, and I'm not saying you guys, but what I'm saying is that society, we're all for ourselves, not too communal. And I feel like now, doing this podcast, now that I've been in podcasting since the year 2020, since COVID, and it's incredible what has transpired. I've interviewed over 270 people, and I feel like, how the fuck did I get that? Like, it's so crazy, but people show up, and that's how we get to rise to the occasion, because people who show up are doers, are leaders, and I want all of you to be here too. So I'm grateful that you're here, because Erika, one thing I love about Erika, very forward, very honest, and not afraid to touch the money word, right? So we're going to talk money.
Money.
Lots of money.
I think money is important.
Very important.
Yeah.
So Haven Services. I know that before Haven Services existed, you were also in that field in banking, right?
Yes, I was a banker.
Touch upon that.
So my first job was at a nonprofit housing counseling agent. I just applied to any job that would hire me. Monster.com, remember that? And my first job was at a nonprofit housing counseling agency, and we had this great program with 3 different banks, and we'd help people like buy a house. And so I was really good. I made connections with all these 3 banks, Citibank, I think back then it was Chase, and it was Bank of America. So you build relationships, you start like doing your work, people start seeing you. But I was putting people into homes, and then every time I would do a closing, I was like, okay, people, and we did the pre-purchase counseling, where we got them ready to homeownership, and then, here they go. So then I couldn't even afford my own rent working at a nonprofit. So I was like, no, something's not right. So I started talking to the banks, my connections, and they're like, well, do you want to come with us? And I said, sure. So nonprofit tried to stop me from going to work at the bank. And so I decided, I'm like, listen, I have to go. You gave me a director position, but I can't even afford my rent. So I started, I went into banking, and we started in the real estate department working with a lot of government loans. It's structuring the loans. I was with Bank of America. Then Washington Mutual offered me a better deal. So they pulled me years later from Bank of America. And then the foreclosure crisis happened. I think a lot of us remember, it's so far away, but still remember that. Washington Mutual went bankrupt.
Right.
So I lost my job, and what am I going to do? Da, da, da. So I said, you know what, I bought my house. I said, I have some assets. I think I have some savings. I can go back and help people, save their house out of foreclosure. So I went and joined another nonprofit, work with them, but they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Every client was just an intake for them. So I just felt that there was something missing. Then I met my husband, and we were dating, and he's like, why don't you start a nonprofit? And I was like, okay, okay, I'm gonna start a nonprofit. So I started Haven, and we were trying to call it something around housing, right? But I'm an immigrant from Mexico, right? So I come here when I was 17, and when I came here, I was like, this is LA, this is people from all over the world, like African Americans, Asians, so I wanted to call it something it's something around housing, so Haven. So we called it Haven Services. Paul helped me pick the name, and I started helping people save their house out of foreclosure. And one thing that I did see, and that I was trying to work very hard on, is because a lot of them were victims of predatory lending practices, realtors, brokers, lawyers, putting titles on their house, pretending they were saving their house and helping them with the modification, and that was not true. So so I saw a lot of fraud, and then so people, when they come in to us, we said, okay, it's free, no cost to you. But then I saw that they were coming in with boxes of documents, and I was like, what is this? I said, open at least a letter, see. But it's the fear of money, the fear of talking, addressing the issue. And that's kind of going back to mental health. You don't want to address your own demons, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to save your house out of foreclosure. But first, your credit is ruined. You don't understand what your tax is. The basic questions they would ask: how much you pay property taxes, your insurance, your interest rate, what is a refinance? None of that language of finance. And I'm like, in basics, right? So I'm like, well, this is something's missing here. Right. So I started incorporating financial education. I said, okay, you're going to go through this 12-step financial education, from banking basics, money, credit, how to establish your budget, how to, what is buying versus renting, what is taxes, what percentage of your property taxes you pay, what is insurance, all of that good stuff. So I started doing research, and online I found the FDIC, who regulates the banks, had this Money Smart program, right? It's already there, so I didn't have to recreate anything. So I put him through this 12-step financial education. I said, okay, once you, then we have your modification, but you have to have the certificate to have taken these classes, right? So they did that, and we saved their house out of foreclosure. So little by little, my program started growing with credit counseling, financial literacy, and I founded Haven in 2010. Okay. So it's 15 years now. We have our quinceañera this year, so all of you are welcome. Yeah. And then now, so I think the important thing is talking about money, right? Like we
Yes.
don't, no one teaches you. And in school, there's no, you take cooking, you take, in Mexico we took a elect workshop, we take all of those elective classes, but there's no one financial education classes that you could take, teach kids credit. And what I started seeing and noticing is that how disproportionate it was with high income earners versus our community.
Yeah.
Our community doesn't talk about credit. It's like, when you start talking about credit, like, oh, I don't like to borrow. When, we tell our clients in Spanish, oh, no me gusta pedir prestado. But then when they ask to borrow, they borrow at low double-digit interest rates.
Yeah.
So that is we have a problem. So I think it's important that we demystify, money, and we demystify the problem of not having basic financial education.
Yeah.
Because when people don't have enough financial education, they're more prone to be victims of fraud.
Right.
We always tell people, like, if you learn anything from here, learn that you do not just sign any document. You do not lend your credit to anyone. So, it's understanding the concept of money.
Yes. And the fear of asking, right? Because you were saying that they're not even asking for a loan. No. Si tengo el dinero, lo voy a pagar, ¿verdad? And that's very Latino. Like, don't ask for help.
Right.
Coming back to our conversation with Maria, like, you don't want to ask for help. You don't want to bother anybody. Now, you teaching financial literacy to your clients, what have you learned besides for not asking for help? What else is underlying? What is that pattern, that trauma that sets your client apart from someone who's financially successful?
Well, I think that when you have the money, you hug the money, and you don't let it grow. You don't make it grow if you don't know enough. If you don't know how to grow your money. When you're saying they don't ask for. They don't ask for help. It's like not only that you're not asking for help, but you're not seeking other resources and products that are out there with banks, right? So the banks have a lot of programs they can offer you. There's also CDFI, Certified Depository Nonprofits, that can also help with small dollar loans. So all of these things that when we don't talk about it, we are not, just like mental health, what you don't know, you can't, you don't know.
Right.
So I think that my mission is that, we need to educate, because the more you educate, the more people are going to be curious. And it's interesting enough, because when we teach, financial education, people are like, okay, I've already gone through these courses. Can you give me more?
Ah, nice.
Can you give me like how to understand CDs, money markets? Can you tell me like more? Recently not recently, 4 years ago in Santa Monica, we brought in and introduced our financial education to the city of Santa Monica, and where we had no grant. We just came in and did the workshop, and then all of a sudden one client came up to us, and then, I invested in this firm for cryptocurrency, and they were scammed. And right now we have about 4,500 families nationwide that have been victims of this pyramid scheme. And it's very sad when you're doing those antics, because people come into you and they're the person that is selling the oranges at the corner, the person that is doing house cleaning, and it breaks your heart. It makes you think that you need to keep growing and educate them, because their brother, their sister, they got him into this chain.
Yeah.
And the person that started this whole crypto scam is someone that we don't even know where the person is. So we got involved, the FCC, OCC, all the government agencies that regulates, these companies. Yeah. We got them involved, and all these attorneys came into Santa Monica, and fortunately we were able to get back. It was $40 million that we took, but after all of that, it's only $5 million that are going to be disbursed with all these families. So each family is probably going to get $100. The investment was from $5,000, the lowest, to $150,000 that somebody invested cash. So, do you think this family? So when we met with them, we're like, okay, so now my job is not just let me help you with your intake and let me report this, but my job is for you to sit here through our financial education so that you can understand. And then I'm going to bring you high-end financial education so that you can understand, see these monies, so that you understand the implications of like investing, but also that you can, with that money, you could have safely invested in something.
Right.
But so it's a lot of things that we go through. And by the way, my boss is there, Nora. She's my board chair, so I always have to be careful what I say, right, Nora?
No,
Because in
tranquila.
a nonprofit, we always say like, it's like I founded a nonprofit, but if my board is not happy with me, they can kick me out at any time.
Right.
I also don't, don't take a salary, and I know my boss is really upset at that, but I think we're good, Nora.
Yeah.
And then now we do taxes for anybody that makes under $80,000 a year. We file last year over 4,900 tax returns. And we gave over $3.8 million back to the community and refunds.
For free. Wow.
Yeah.
And this is low and medium income.
Low and medium.
That is really fantastic.
Now I'm approved through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So we do pre-purchase counseling, post-purchase foreclosure prevention, continue. And I'm in the process of becoming a CDFI, so I will be able to do small dollar loans. We're all over Lake County, San Bernardino, Riverside, and Las Vegas now.
Oh my God, ¿qué no haces? Wow. So how does one participate in one of your programs?
So it's basically, we're on social media. Now I have a team of 25 employees. We have over 60 volunteers. They come in and help us with, during the VITA tax season, taxes, to help us do taxes in the community. We come to Whittier, we come to LA, San Diego, Bakersfield, Big Bear,
Yeah.
and people just find us on social media.
I know, because I was looking at the stories for your nonprofit, and I'm like, oh, I better post this and share it because you guys are all over the place. So if you know anybody who fits within these guidelines, to have them go to Haven Services to do their taxes. I'm like, oh man, I wish you could do our taxes.
But it's interesting too with when starting a nonprofit, right? I was sharing that had I known how difficult it was going to be, maybe I would have kept another trajectory. But I'm 15 years into this, and it's a business. But it's a business that is held to higher standards. It is, when the gentleman was saying that about accounting, it's like accounting, it's payroll. At one point, I was doing payroll, accounting, HR, and so until you build your team, and then until you start hiring. But I've been very fortunate, that the root of all this comes from, first my husband says, I just do whatever you want and you don't have to worry about bringing a salary. He paid my employees for the first 7 years until we got funding. But I think that you're put in a place, and I feel that nothing is just. I think you already have your mission in life, and it comes. You just keep working, keep doing what you know best, and things will fall. Because I think at one point I kept telling him during my first 7 years, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to my banking job and make money. I am so tired. You get kicked out of
Sounds like me
meetings,
every day.
people oh, you don't belong here. They make you work hard, somebody takes the grant, they make you do the work, and then you find out, and it's really it's not easy to be, this 15 years have been 15 years of 7 days a week, of working 40 plus hours a week. It is building tough skin. And then, one thing that my psychiatrist husband told me, keep showing up, just keep showing up. And I'm like, but I'm tired, I can't do this.
No, of course not. And then
you're
you're not getting paid for it.
I know. And then, but you know what, and through this whole trajectory, every single one of my employees has a story.
Yeah.
Because they all came in from I was doing this workshop, I was doing this, and they connected with me and they asked me for a job. Then I got more funding. I'm like, well, now I can hire you. Well, now I can give you, now I can, so everyone that comes in through me, I hired, recently, last year, we had this lady from, we did her taxes, they were from Oaxaca, ITIN holders, And they came in and we did their taxes, and their daughter was sitting with them. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Are you going to do your taxes? She's like, well, I'm not working, but I have a master's in data analytics. And I'm like, what? What? I said, no. So I got funding and I hired her. But, and that's the story of people that, her parents speak dialect. And the mom was so grateful. She was crying and I said, no, this is a stepping stone, because if she can find something better, I want her to, like, you need to be working a multi-million-dollar company with that skills. But anyway, so everybody that comes through to work with us is because they're mission driven. They love what they do. But I'm also very passionate about helping others get up there.
Right.
Like, how can I help you do better? How can I help you? Just with our clients, like, look, today you come in with bad credit. Tomorrow you're going to leave with, like, we have a program that, like, we help them increase their credit score by 100 points, 90 to 100 points a year. But it's a savings plan, because everything's behavior, right?
Yeah.
So we put them through savings, and then we match those savings. And they keep it's a motivation to do more. We had a veteran. We were at the West LAVA too. I have an office there. And no, they don't let any nonprofits in there, but we've been there for 12 years now. So, veterans, we help, anybody that needs a support. We have veterans that come in homeless, this is transitional housing, and then guess what? Right now they're buying a house.
Wow.
Guess what? Right now they're getting into a first apartment. Guess what? Right now they're starting their business. So things like that we need more, support. Just like you do your podcast, I think we just need the push sometimes.
Yeah. And it's like what we've been saying is that it's really hard for us to ask for help. And then when they finally come, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like you're an angel to them.
Yeah.
And I know that when I was practicing like hardcore immigration, I had some clients that obviously they didn't have their papers and stuff like that, and they would hustle whatever, cash, I-10, whatever it was, but it was like the same cycle, the same thing. It wasn't until someone broke the cycle, and they're here, they were with me trying to get status, and I could see it in their eyes when they would like, oh my God, I finally have a work permit to work. It's such a blessing to have that as a form of payment for you, to see what the capacity, the ability to make somebody so happy, because you know that they're going to put food on the table.
Yeah. Breaking the cycle. I think that's what really motivates me, to break the cycle of poverty. To give people, we used to go to halfway homes at the beginning of when I started Haven, because the people, like, the parolees were already there, like they can go anywhere, right? So we started doing financial education. They were like, you're crazy, why are you going there? I'm like, you sometimes have to plant the seed, planting the seed, like understanding, like if they don't hear this, they'll never get it. But if one or two of them hear you and say, hey, listen, maybe I can be better. And your finances is a motivation for you to, like, hey, wake up. What are you gonna do when you leave? You're gonna be on the streets. Where are you gonna pay your rent? You're gonna how are you gonna be able to sustain yourself when you get out there? It's like a stress. It's something that we need to be able to do better, right? It's like, oh my God, how am I gonna pay my bills? Right? Oh my God. But if you don't plant that seed, you have to believe in yourself to be able to believe in the clients you're serving.
Yeah. Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Erika?
So Erika, you're 15 years in. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years as you continue to develop your programming and the scalability of your organization? You mentioned you're in a couple different states already.
Yeah. So we're going nationwide. Our next state, so it's Las Vegas, and we have Chicago, we have Minneapolis, we have I think it was North Carolina that we're going to be opening. But my ultimate goal is to have a mini a CDFI, and then a small, maybe a small bank. All right? Maybe that's within my next year.
Yes.
And it's interesting because money doesn't motivate me. What motivates me is like my community, and I think that's what it
That's the important thing about you. It's gente.
I remember when my grandmother and I used to come visit my mom here and to LA. We go back home and we're very poor. We didn't even have money to eat sometimes. And I'm very proud to say that my mom cleans houses. My mom still takes care of a lady. We're like, don't work, you don't have to work. I have to work. She told the lady, oh, you don't have to pay me, I'll take care of you. But I think that's kind of the family, the kind of like the humildad that we have, you know. And then my grandma would go back to Mexico and she would go to 99 cents store, buy like $50 worth of like napkin, like little toallitas, and she would go back and give them to all her friends. So I always have that. So whenever like I go to Mexico, my Paul always says, "Oh, she went to Ross, $3,000 because she bought all these things for people." But it's like it's kind of like the, you know, like my mom. You meet her, you need money, okay. You need something, I'll give it to you. I'm like, Mom, no, don't worry.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the kind of.
Yeah, no, and it circles.
Yeah.
That's abundance. That's that mindset that what is it, that donde comen cuatro comen seis. It's like, it's just, you'll make good with whatever you have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Oh yeah, Maricela.
What would you say is the number one mistake that Latinos do with money? Is it getting into debt? Is it not investing? What's the number one mistake?
You know what? Really thinking that, like, I think social media right now, it's a big problem that we have because everybody has those things that everybody wishes they had. And not understanding how much, like, your personal budget and how much you can afford, and those things are an illusion. Not an illusion, but they're, you know, sometimes they make you feel good. I remember when I was a banker, I was making really good money, and I worked 7 days. So I think that's always been my thing. Work 7 days a week. I knew the cleaning person because I would leave with them like almost at midnight, almost every day. But I kept my budget because I wanted to buy a house. I would pass by Los Felix and I'll be like, oh, I want a house there. But back then I still didn't, like, I was 18, 19. I didn't have the concept of like how much those homes cost. But I kept my budget where I didn't, I guess ignorance is a bliss. So then back then, social media was not that prominent, right? But I see my banker colleagues with their, like, you know, high-end bags and all this stuff. And I was like, and I just was focusing on working. I have to save. And I would go to Ross, buy 5 pairs of jeans, set slacks, 6 pairs of blouses, like little jackets, and 2 bags that I had. But I kept my budget. I kept my budget until I bought my house. But I think our problem is not. It's just that we have so many influence around us. We have the Kardashians with a perfect body now. You know that now everybody wants I have a lonjita, so I'm like, I want to take it out. Like, hey, be comfortable. So I think that we are influenced. Our influence is outside us is what really keeps us. I remember when my husband also he just has graduated, and I said, well, you want to work for yourself or you want to be a employee of a hospital? And he says, okay, well, I want to semi-retire. And I was like, all right, what do you want? Well, I want to have I want to be independent. I said, okay, semi-retired, okay. So he started his business. I think that a lot of us don't have that information readily available so that we can make those financial decisions.
Yeah.
But what we do, we provide financial coaching, right? And we tell people, this is free. And when you say free, sometimes they don't take it serious. They said, oh, it's free. It must not be good. But I'm like, this is a financial coaching education that someone is paying for. It's not, so I kept telling myself, it's no cost to you because somebody else is paying us to do this for you.
Yeah.
This is only available for people that have money. Do you understand? Even if you come in with $100 here, I'm going to help you and I'm going to teach you how to grow that money. I mean, it is important, but even with kids, like, you know, social media, all that influence around you, grounding our kids to, like, honey, this is in budgeting. Like, we tell the families, like, you know, and we work with very low income women that, you know, that guess what? Everyone's an entrepreneur. We're like, Latinos, give me a rock and I will go and sell it.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously. We all have that, you know, in us. But I think that we need to start doing that into our kids. The second generation, we're building you know, we want to give them the best. Sometimes the best is what we didn't have, and sometimes we're harming our children by doing that.
Right.
You know, it is very important that we ground ourselves. We tell the women that, like, you go to Ross, you give your kid $5. Here, this is how much you're gonna have, and I don't care if the toy is $12. I take my nephews and I said, this is what you have. Pay. Oh, I don't have. Kika's not enough. Okay, well, leave it or come back when you have more money. It start teaching the conversation. It
Yeah.
is important that we need to demystify money. Money is not just for the wealthy. It is how you learn how to build it.
Yeah, yeah. Demystify money. I like that. Any other questions?
No, I just want to say, Madrina, thank you for, sharing your story with us. And we are very proud, your boss.
My boss.
With Enterprise Bank and Trust partnering with you also and partnering with you on the project. I encourage you to read on VITA. It's a great program where we go and we help the community to file their tax returns
Yeah.
for free. My in-laws did it. They were paying annually $300 just to file a simple return. And it was until I met, I've known Erika, mi madrina, for over, I don't even want to say,
Yeah.
20 years. But VITA through Enterprise, we get the training, it's for free, and you share with your families. They're out there paying money that they can put back into their pocket, and we can teach them how to save that money and grow. $300 into $3 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone here is welcome to also participate, volunteer, take the training for VITA, and be out there, be part of the community, and file tax returns for our family.
And let your family members know. See, this is how we surround ourselves. This is how they're part of, like, it's Haven is part of it's an ecosystem that we have to better help people. And I just want to leave you before with this. When we started VITA 5 years ago, we got a contract through this nonprofit. They gave us like very little. But we came in and we saw the need of the community, and we saw how many fraud was being in the by the tax preparers. Oh, but last year you gave me 6,000 today, but last year they only gave me 2,000. Well, guess what? We went back to their taxes. The tax preparer got some money to their bank, and the rest they give it to the client.
Oh.
How employees are defrauding the ITN holders, right? They come in, and I remember Nora coming in, and she's crying. I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, they owe a lot of money. And I was like, what? And so I asked the señora, I said, ¿Qué pasó? She's like, I gave my employee $200 every 2 weeks so that he could pay my taxes. So I called the employer, and I said, hey, this is IRS VITA, VITA IRS. So guess what? They rectified those taxes just like that. When I started seeing those stories, and I am someone that I'm the CEO, I don't hide behind my desk. I go and I meet with my team when I can. I go do taxes and I sit with them and I hear. But when I heard that, I was like, we need to grow this program. And for those of you that are in the stages of starting your business of thinking, we started 5 years ago with VITA with a very small contract. I said other nonprofits pimped us because they got the money and we kept showing up, we kept doing the work, we kept trying to scratch here and there, and and we kept increasing our numbers every year. Finally, this year we got the big grant from the state.
Woo,
They gave us the big grant to do VITA. And I was like, people, if I did what we did with no money, imagine now that we have the money.
Amen. Well, with that, I want to say thank you
you
so much, Erika.
Thank you.
I mean, this is amazing, and I know that we're going to do more of this.
Yes.
Your information is flawless. I love it, and I know that our community is going to thrive because of people like you. Keep doing it. You're going global. Not just the United States. Let's go all over the world. You know what I mean?
We just want with a lot of with the legal organization. We want. I don't know if you heard that the IRS was going to give information to ICE.
Oh yeah.
So we were able to safeguard 99% of those files that are not going to be. The IRS will not be sharing that information.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on Amiga Handle Your Shit
Thank you so
podcast.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.